Hello, everyone. We're live. Welcome to my live stream show that I'm going to do weekly called High Society Hour. That didn't go as planned, but yes, I have my paper fan. If you've watched the live streams with Flex and I, we used to do Friday Night Live. I had my paper fan because I was a lady. I still am, but this was part of my thing. I wanted to make paper fans trending. Not really, but I did actually look into paper fans. Like they have this whole language. And I think it was invented by a man in order to sell more paper fans, but like if you had the fan across, your mouth like this, or if you had the fan pointed like this, it meant I want to talk. It was really interesting. It was like this whole sign language system for paper fans. Anyway, segue, get used to that because actually, no, I did. Okay, so I want to show you something before. Well, first I want to talk about what this is. So I've been wanting to do a live show where I just get on camera and talk about stuff forever. I've tried to do this in the past, but it usually goes, it's like a little disorganized, even though I came ready with the topic because I've got ADHD, and so my brain is kind of working on like 7 different parallels running simultaneously at the same time. So I thought, how about I will bullet point what I want to talk about? That way, it's still structured, and I will eventually get back on topic, but we're allowed to go by the wayside because that's just how life is. And in a live show format, if someone wants to talk about something particular, we bring it up. But yes, so that is what this is. It is my High Society Hour stream. And basically, I want to dedicate a little time per week to talking about issues that interest me. I also want to talk about things. I want to share beautiful pieces of artwork I come across. I want to share beautiful pieces of music that I find, or a musician I've listened to. I want to talk about some thoughtful subjects and just take a little break away from how disappointed I am overall with our current reality. And I think this is a sentiment shared by a bunch of people, especially the people around me. Everyone's just exhausted and fed up with how ugly and disappointing our timeline is. And so I've been wanting to do something to just show someone out there that you're not alone, that there are many of us who just wish things were different. And so I want to use my platform to, take a stance. And think of this as a little breath of fresh air with everything that's out there right now, with all of the negativity and just how ugly things are. We don't have to be that way. And so yes, that is what this show is going to be focused on. Hopefully, just taking a little bit of a break. So what I did was I did this. And this is my bullet point that I'm talking about. So this is, I kind of thought, oh, well, maybe I should have my live show and have like a set itinerary per week. And so I could follow this format. I don't know if I'm going to stick to this format. Again, it took me a long time to sort of kind of figure out what I wanted to do, what I wanted to focus on, what I'd cover, and the formula. Also, this was supposed to be a full screen application, but apparently if you full screen Microsoft PowerPoint, it looks crazy. Like, I could show you, but it looks like the Matrix. It's like all over the place. So for today's episode, this is what we're going to focus on. And I've put together some things that pertain to this. So I wanted to sort of just, again, simulate taking a breath, just just having a little pause that is taking some time to appreciate things that I've found that are interesting to me or that I like. Okay, so my nature walk selection. This is going to include showing you some birds that have been in my garden recently and also showing you some flowers that are currently in bloom. So yes, the first one is the common ground dove. And I saw this dove walking on the ground one day, which is different from this next dove. So I see these mourning doves all the time. I think they're so pretty. Just that brown with the little blue eyeliner. Let me make sure that might be a little loud. There we go. So, but I saw this ground dove, and I've never seen this bird before, and it was in the backyard, and it was walking around, and this dove is like a forager, so it walks on the ground, and I thought it was a baby at first because it was so tiny, and I was freaking out. I told Flex, I was like, take a photo of it. So I've got like so many photos of this little ground dove, but I thought, okay, here we go. Can't hear it. Oh, great. Now I can't hear it. I don't know. Maybe the music's too loud. I'll figure this out. Again, I did not. I just went into this. I made the PowerPoint. I didn't really test it. Oh, look. You can't really see it. Oh, look how cute they are. So this little thing is so cute. Oh, here we go. Here's a video. Yeah, I just saw walking around. It was so tiny. I thought it was a baby. Can you see that? Okay, it's playing. But it's so cute. And I only saw it for 2 days, and I've never seen it again. But I recently redid my backyard to be all Florida native plants. And so it's kind of become like a bird sanctuary, and I just love going out there and eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, eating in general on my newly renovated patio and just seeing all the birds. Now this is the mourning dove, and if you've ever seen this dove, apparently it's like one of the most common birds in America. These birds, if you've ever seen them, sorry, the music's maybe a little too loud. I want to put background music, to set the mood, and just because I'm always listening to music. I know some people listen to podcasts and videos and whatnot, but I'm like always listening to music. So these doves, if you have seen them, when they fly away, they make this whistling sound. So I can't really imitate it, but it's like a very noticeable whistling sound, and it's actually the wings that make that noise, which is so interesting because this whole time I thought it was the birds, but no, it's actually their wings that make this little and they have this really beautiful sound. Here, let's see if it'll oh, it's because it's too low. Wait, I have to pause the music. Well, listen, we'll figure this out. Here you go. Can you hear it? I'm looking at the sound volume to see. So it's pretty. It's that really noticeable, yeah. That soft cleanup. It's so pretty. So I don't know the geography of these birds, so I'm looking at Cornell Labs University, and we'll be talking a little bit more about this. But oh my gosh, wait! So that's where they are year-round. So everyone in America, apart from, which state is that? That's Michigan. That's just something. Oh, I'm so bad with my states and just in general map geography, if you ask me. Typical American. Anyway, so we all should have heard this cry sometime in our life. But for me, it's just, there's something just very peaceful about it. So So that's the mourning dove. I'm going to skip Claire de Lune because it's so loud. Oh, I need to turn that down, sorry. Again, I am testing out the format of this. So that's the mourning dove. I also see cardinals all the time, and these are so cute because the male is red and the female is brown, and it's kind of like a salt and pepper shaker. I always see them together. I've started trying to actually, I think we're going to only have music or bird sounds. I think that's the problem. It's too. Here we go. Let's turn that up and let's do this. And this cry is so funny to me because it sounds like a little laser. And it's just such a pretty little bird. So cardinals are actually, oh my gosh. Some birds lose all the feathers from their head at the same time, remaining bald. Oh, look at her. She's still beautiful. You know, it's really interesting though, in birds, the males typically have the really, really bright, attractive plumage, and then the females have a more muted color. And I'm sure an ornithologist would be able to tell me why. But yeah, there we go. Oh, look at the baby. Yeah, so I love, these are actually much smaller than what you'd think. They look like a big bird, but they're actually pretty tiny. I wish they had a thing for scale. Oh, well, okay, so that is the northern cardinal. And then this one is adorable, the tufted titmouse. Let's see if I can, let's pull up. I actually, and I should have kept the report about it, but birdsong has a calming effect on us because they say songbirds will sing when it's safe, when there's no predators nearby. And so it kind of has its effect on humans. Like, oh, I feel at peace because the birds are singing. These things are so freaking cute. They're so tiny. They're ridiculously tiny. Again, if there was something to scale. But they're just the cutest. I mean, they have such a funny name too. The tufted titmouse. But yes, this is another bird that comes to my garden. There are a ton. I just chose a handful, but we have a ton of birds that come because I have a bird feeder, and again, I have like all native plant species, Florida native plant species. So speaking of native plant species, I have some currently blooming. This is Stokes aster, and it's so pretty, and it's just a beautiful bright purple wildflower that has like all these little spindly, I don't know what they're called. I'm not a plant expert. I'm a gardener, flower enjoyer. So these spindly white things coming out of it. But this is a really, really pretty flower that's blooming right now. Also blooming right now is this flower called the black-eyed Susan. And this one is a Florida native. But I've just never seen a flower that has the petals growing around and the top of it, this part, growing up. It's just it's such a fun little flower that the woman who helped me landscape, she does like restorative Florida meadowscapes. She planted a ton of these, and they've all started blooming. It's just so pretty, and I've really enjoyed seeing all of the birds and the wasps, butterflies, bees that have really come and been impacted by just my tiny little bit of, oh, my voice is pretty low. How low is it? Let's see. You know, I set this up, I swear, like I don't understand. Let me pull this up real quick. And this, like, guys, I even checked the volume and I made it. Oh, it got reset. Is this better, hopefully? Thank you for telling me it's low. Okay, hopefully this is better. It got reset. And I don't know why, but hopefully that's a little better. But yes, it's been, here, you actually can't see on the stream. This license plate right here, I didn't know this, but the Florida Department of, where is it? Oh, Florida Department of Traffic created this wildflower program there we go. Now the whole thing can fit there. I guess that's why I should have done the beginning. But they basically did this. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen Camshaft. And hello. So Florida Department of Transportation created this program in 1963. And they have all of these strips of land in which they plant Florida wildflowers. And I mean, this is so pretty. Oh my gosh, look at this. That's gorgeous. And it's just all native wildflowers. I'm very against grass as a lawn covering just because grass is not really beneficial at all. It's very water intensive. You're never going to have like monoculture grass, which is like one species because all the seeds are going to be coming in, and you're going to have weeds, which is just the term that we give to undesirable plants. This is so much prettier. I will take this any day over just like a blanket of grass. So I was really surprised to see that this was something in the 1960s that the Florida Department of Transportation came up with to restore some of the native ecosystems because they're so popular. I know you'll go to like a plant nursery and they have all kinds of pretty stuff. And really recently, it wasn't until like maybe last year, I really started to see the whole trend about embracing native landscapes and native pollinator plants to rebuild, because there's so many species in our homes, in each of our where we live, of pollinators that depend on certain types of plant. They're called host plants, and that's the plant that they'll come and they'll lay eggs on or their babies need. It's just so beautiful, and this is so pretty. So when I was looking up flowers, I saw that the Florida Department of Transportation came up with this project, and I was very, very happy to see that. So that concludes our walk through the garden. Now, I wanted to feature a good people doing good things section every single stream too, because I just think it is so easy for us to focus on people that make us upset or people who are not living up to our expectations and standards. I have complaints about such individuals like on the daily, and I think it's really permeated our news cycle. It's what gets attention because it's like the low-hanging fruit of it's the low-hanging fruit for our entertainment or whatnot that we see. We see examples of people that we don't like doing things that are awful. So I said, let me just feature a people doing good section. And so Cornell Lab, which is where I was pulling up all the bird photos before, they have an app called Merlin. And if you look it up on your phone, just in your app store, it is a songbird identification app, and it actually uses AI in a beneficial way to transcribe songbird patterns. And so you can hold it up, and let's say that mourning dove, for example, cuckoo, coo, coo. It'd hear that, and it'd tell you it was a mourning dove. And it's a really, really cool app. But Cornell Lab, they do a bunch of stuff. And because of the release of Merlin and the bird watching app, it's gotten people more involved, and they can help track songbird locations and migratory patterns, and track their population, because like everything beneficial. You know, it's all been impacted by our carelessness. So, but this is just, I believe, I'll just read this. We believe that people make the difference in every conservation challenge through participatory science projects, practical conservation actions, and broad partnerships. We offer limitless ways for you to deepen your interests and passions. And I love as many disappointingly terrible people that are out there, there are so many people who just like dedicate their lives to wanting to do better and wanting to see the world a better place. And this just gives me so much inspiration. And so when I see things like this, here's a section right now, 7 simple actions to help birds. Going through here, and it's just to see humans dedicating their lives, taking time to raising awareness about things to help creatures is just an absolutely incredible thing to me. And you can see it makes me very, very emotional. But Cornell Labs is a wonderful organization. And I just wanted to, feature it and encourage you to go take a look. Because, I mean, we use sound to help protect elephants from, amazing things. I love seeing scientific advancements in order to help the planet. That is like the one thing that I really, really just, it gives me so much hope. And I feel like right now, a lot of us we just want as much hope as we can possibly get. So Cornell Lab is full of wonderful humans doing wonderful things. Hi, Block Rocker. Okay, you said classy little break, so I brought the good China, the tea, not the British. The finger sandwiches and the block shootery board. I swear if you say thank you thing or thank you Alfred when I hand you the tea, I'm done. Listen, Block Rocker. I did it again. I fumbled it. I have this. I brought this back. It's broken. But I still use it because why not? It still works. This is functional. Fans are beautiful and they're functional. And in Florida, we can take beautiful, functional, practical ways of staying cool. Also, hi, Tiara. So yes, I just wanted to highlight Cornell Lab because they're doing all kinds of stuff. It's not just a sound app. What they're doing is trying to just fix the planet. And this is one thing. Oh, I have a list at the end of upcoming topics. Remind me to put this on there, which is pushing back against the doomerism, because I feel like doomerism is just it's a trap that people get involved in, and I don't want anyone to fall for it. So that is Cornell Labs. And so this should be a link. Here you go. I came across this article, and it's very, very small. I'm not going to read the entirety of it, but it's just basically talking about how, look, it's very small. There's some studies that are linked in here, but it's talking about the anxiety levels of children have been raised so high because of their connection, dependency, addiction to smartphones, and just being plugged in and looking at the screen. And I'm sure you've all seen it. I see it every single time I go out. It is that frequent. If I ever go out to eat, if I go out in public, I will see a family with a child, and the child is on an iPad or they're on their phone. And it is like watching a zombie. They are completely dead to everything around them. They are not involved with their family. Their parents couldn't care less. Their parents are just eating. A lot of the times, everyone will be on their phone at the table. I saw this. This was a couple years ago. It got me really emotional. There was a girl. She was maybe 8. She was on her iPad, and she was out with her grandmother. And it just makes me so sad because her grandmother was sitting there eating, and this little girl was just on her screen. And I just thought, you know what? It's not fair that this dependency and addiction was put on her. The adults in her life definitely failed her, but do you think she's going to grow up one day and she's going to be 25 and think, wow, I completely squandered my youth on a screen, never got to get to know my grandparent? It's very, and that's the sort of thing. This is why I want my live show to have a focus on, we look at what we can do to be better as an answer to why things are so bad right now. But basically, this little article was just talking about how having access to nature greatly reduces anxiety in children, and how disenfranchised communities don't have access to nature at predominantly very, very high rates. And so just making nature more accessible to people and how beneficial that is and why that's so important. So that's why I've really, really embraced this year and last year, just gardening more. It's been so wonderful just walking through every day as I see what's blooming. I'll pluck up some errant grass seeds that I see have came in on the wind and buried themselves between my flowers and stuff. But I've felt way better. And personally speaking, I had a really bad year last year. I felt really, really sad and depressed and dejected. And I've started spending more time outdoors, just in my garden, not even having to go anywhere. I'll go through that list later, but and it's just had such a beneficial, noticeable impact on me. And so the studies that talk about upping your access to nature, upping your access to being outdoors, like, it does work. I can tell you. And all it took was some planning, some research. I had a really, really fun time working with the woman that I hired to help me with my plants, because I don't really know enough. And I recommend, if you have the resources, if you have the money, the time, just to look up native landscaping for where you live in your county, because it's not just, if you live in Wisconsin, you can't just say native Wisconsin flowers. Like, there's zones. Like, Florida's a huge state. People don't know. Florida's huge. It's like to go from the top, it's called the Panhandle, all the way to the Keys, it's like 9 hours. So we have like a state that's 9 hours long to drive from top to bottom. And in that strip are so many different, they're called zones, planting zones. And so you will have to look up your zone, but I'm sure you'll see things that you've never seen before. Like, I've found out about a lot of native Florida wildflowers that I've just legit never seen before. I saw a thing that said robins see us as pigs, and they have followed pigs around for centuries, pecking at what they dig up, and that's why they aren't scared of us and hang around us. Oh my gosh, are you serious? That's so funny. We're in the same category as pigs. That's so accurate in a lot of different ways. So I just put this list together. Preface. I didn't research this, but ways to up your nature dosage. Botanical gardens. There's a beautiful botanical garden near me that I just bought annual passes to, and we've been going on the weekends, and it's just nice. We'll just walk through an hour every weekend, walking or biking along trails or around your neighborhood. The idea is to just get outside and enjoy some greenery. Picnics at local parks. You don't have to have anyone to go with you. Just pack something from home, bring it, read a book, or just go outside and just watch. I really enjoy being outside without listening to anything. because I think I just feel more appreciative and aware of what's around me. Now, I know plenty of people like to listen to things while they walk, audiobooks and whatnot. Highly encourage you to do that if you like to. But try going outside, just like listening. It's a nice activity. Kayaking or paddleboarding. For the extreme adventurer, I have a funny paddleboarding story. So paddleboarding is where you stand up on the board and you have like the oar. And a friend wanted to go paddleboarding, and I'd never been paddleboarding before. I actually don't like water sport. I don't go near the water in Florida. I just don't. We have a ton of alligators around here. I know that's like the whole meme. Oh, crocodile. No, Florida, we have a ton of alligators here. And that's just true. So I don't like to go to the water or even be next to the water in Florida. The pool is the closest I will go. I will walk over a bridge. I will see it from afar, but I don't go anywhere near it. I went kayaking once. It was very fun, and it was kind of scary because kayaking is when, I mean, you guys know what kayaking is, don't you? But kayaking, you're like in a little canoe, and if there's a big ship or if there's anything in a disturbance in the water next to you, like the wave, it'll be huge and it will really rock the boat. And so we were kayaking, and it was right next to a lake where this big boat came, and the wave came all the way over to us. And the kayak instructor, he's like, here, don't, you got to turn sideways. You have to turn your kayak this way, horizontal. Don't hit the wave this head on, or else it's going to like slap it. And we didn't get in time. It was super scary. I was just very stressed out the whole time. It was nice when we were going through like the calmer. There was like this calm little channel, but otherwise kind of stressful. But paddleboarding, my friend wanted me to go with her, and so we went to this place, and it looked super sketchy, and the paddleboarding instructor is out, and he's on the water already, and he's like slapping the edge of the lake, like just taking his oar and pew. And I was like, what is this guy doing? So he comes back to shore, and I asked him, I said, what are you doing slapping the water like that? He's like, I'm just scaring the gators away. Not a great thing to say before we all get in the board, okay? The water. Scaring the gators away. And we hear this cry, and it sounds like, and he's like, oh, that's a gator. All right, everyone grab your paddleboard, get in the water. I was very stressed out. I did not enjoy it. It was, again, that was an example of me succumbing to peer pressure because I was there. My friend wanted to go to paddleboarding. Everyone's like, come on, Sarah, come on, let's be brave, go. And I really did not want to do it, but I did it anyway. And I don't really think I gained anything from it. I wouldn't say like, oh, I overcame my fears. I'm going to put that future thing I want to talk about, just succumbing to peer pressure in ways where you just need to hold your ground. Like the only thing I remember about paddleboarding is that it was a scary experience. It wasn't something like I feel was beneficial in my life anyways, paddleboarding. For those of you who are brave enough. A beach picnic would be so nice, Block Rocker. And I love the beach too. And that's like the epitome of nature right there, because you have this big, expansive, just horizon, water, sky, sand. Beautiful. If you have access to go to the beach, consider yourself very lucky. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people in Florida just love it here, because we have access to the beach, like because it's a peninsula. You can really just get to the beach within like a couple hours, mostly anywhere in Florida, which is really, really incredible. Oh, thank you, Block Rocker. I just saw your link to the Sierra Club article. I appreciate that. I should put it. Oh, and bird watching, ways to up your nature dosage. Again, that Merlin app on the Cornell University website. So I was out one morning walking the dogs, and I saw this guy. He kind of looked like Gene Wilder, and he had binoculars, and he was walking around. It was early morning, like 7:30, and instantly I knew. I said, are you bird watching? He said, yes, there is some birds here, because he was visiting. that he'd never seen before. And I thought, oh, I should get binoculars. And so when I go to the botanical gardens, I can bring them with me. Or when I hear a bird, I can look around for it. And it's kind of like a nice, fun game. But bird watching, isn't that, I feel like there are people, bird watchers, who have definitely like helped solved crimes because of things that they've seen. Like they've probably seen something in the distance. You know, there's a typical meme of like the jogger coming across a dead body in the woods. I'm sure bird watchers have also seen their fair share of unsolved crimes. And then lastly, gardening with native plants. That should have been first because I was discussing it first. But yes, these are ways in which I recommend upping your nature dosage. Although the paddleboarding story I told you was probably not a great example. Unless you live in a state that does not have alligators, which I feel like is the majority of states, right? What are the states that have alligators? Like Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, anywhere along the East Coast. I know there's alligators like very far out. You know, but I'm sure for the most of us, like most people all over the world, you don't have to worry about alligators. That's a very specific thing. So I will stand by kayaking or paddleboarding as a great way. That's the plot of Rear Window. It is! That is the plot of Rear Window. He's looking through the binoculars. Grace Kelly and Jimmy Stewart. Great movie. Grace Kelly is beautiful in that movie, by the way. There's this scene where she comes in and she's so ethereal. She looks like an angel. She's so beautiful. And she comes in, she does the sweeping scene. You're like, really, Grace Kelly? You're settling for Jimmy Stewart in this movie? Oh, it's fine. This is a piece of artwork I saw. And I was like, I need a framed photo of this. This is, maybe you've seen this, Tiara. This is in London. So it was just erected this year. When? Like pretty recent, I feel. I mean, oh, there you go. April 29th. I saw this photo and I thought, oh my God, it's so good, this statue, because it's so powerful in so many ways. You are being blinded by your cause that you are championing, and he doesn't even know he's walking right off the plinth here to his destruction. I just thought, wow, that is so incredibly powerful, and I love it. Just a absolutely striking work of art. And of course, it's Banksy, so the opportunity for discussion here is great. But it's just, what a beautiful, beautiful piece of artwork. So I wonder, though, when something like this is, when it's installed in a public space, was there any permission for it, or was it just put up? I don't know. And does it get to stay up? I'd be curious to know. But yeah, I saw that. I mean, I saw it back in April. I'd been holding on to it because I thought, oh, okay, I definitely want to feature this in artwork that I've found that I enjoy. And now the classic movie portion of our talk. Don't worry, Block Rocker. Classic movie portion is always going to come up in discussion. I think it's very on the nose. See, I love that though. I love how obvious it is because it has such a big impact. It's so striking because I think it is pretty obvious to everyone when they see someone championing something that they're so certain of and they're so blinded by how wrong they are. It's actually very sad because I know people like this in my life, and it's very, very frustrating and very sad. And I think that's why it resonated with me so much, was because I see this and you can't talk to them. Like, I could never reach that guy under the veil. I could never pull it off of his face. That's what's so frustrating, seeing it. and just the destruction. So yeah, I really, really love this. I just need a framed, or I just need a miniature statue. I've got tons of figures in my house, so one more statue is not going to stick out. But yeah, I thought that was absolutely beautiful. I've also been taking pottery. Oh, I have a piece of pottery. I'll get it next time. Flex and I've been taking pottery classes, and we started watching the Great Pottery Showdown, which is a British show. And one of the judges is Keith Brymer Jones, and he's a master potter. And he looks like Tony Soprano. I mean, he's huge. This guy, he's got such a big presence. And even like the hair and the face, like he just looks like Tony Soprano, except he's British. And he's really, really talented, but one thing. And so the first episode we saw. Hello? Oh, thank you. Look, Flex brought it for me. This is the bowl that I just made that just got glazed. And look how pretty that is. It's beautiful. It's like blue on the inside. I wanted something to keep my garlic in because I'd always have like garlic cloves, and I wanted something nice and decorative. So I just picked it up last night. But yes, this guy is so incredibly, he's just really, really like has this imposing figure. But the first episode we watched, he was looking at someone's artwork, one of the competitors, and he started getting emotional and he started getting choked up talking about it because he was so moved by the beauty. And I'm like that. I am a very, very, I'm extremely empathetic, and I'm really prone to crying myself, like drop of a hat. Everyone has seen it. I've just always been like this for as long as I can remember. I've been very, very, I don't even know, sensitive. I've been very disposed to crying when I see something that moves me. And it was incredible for me to see Keith like this because I've never seen that before. I'm like that, but I'd never seen anyone else like that before. And you can look up videos like just Keith Brymer Jones crying, and he's talking about pottery, and he's so moved by the beauty of it because he appreciates the effort he can see that the potter has put in. If something has a beautiful form or has a beautiful glazed finish, and he can see the struggle that they've overcome, it'll move him to tears, and he'll cry. And I was so happy to see that. I freaking love him. It made me just feel like seen. Like, oh my gosh, someone else does the same thing. And I'll cry too if I see something particularly with music. Music is a big one for me. There's this one refrain of Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin, and it's around the 10-minute mark. If you go look up Rhapsody in Blue, skip to like 10 minutes and 32 seconds into the song. It's that section, and it's so incredibly beautiful. And it's just like, it makes me cry listening to it because it's just so beautiful, and I'm so impressed by beautiful, lovely things. And so, yes, I just wanted to feature this guy and say, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one that does it, because I've never met anyone else that does the same thing. And then to see this British Tony Soprano guy do it, I felt so incredibly validated. I felt special. Like, wow, we have the same thing. Whatever that is, whatever crying when you see beautiful things are. You cry at moving game scenes. Yeah, Vlog Rock, I cry at just beautiful things. And you know what? I've often, because as much as I embrace that part of myself and recognize it, it can be difficult being very, very empathetic, because I feel burdened by things that there is this. My friend who took an anthropology class, we used to talk about during work on the clock. I miss those days, but back at the law firm, we had chairs right next to each other, and we'd talk across the aisle, and we'd talk about just all kinds of things. I'd talk about, I don't understand how some people just don't have any empathy. And she said that one of the historians that she read his anthology of like civilization, and he had to get to a spot where he had to create this divide in his mind in order to basically stop himself from feeling depressed beyond any kind of point of return because of all the terrible things he had read about what humans have gone through. And I think that people don't like listening to things that make them feel bad because they want to prioritize their own happiness or whatnot, or I want to carve out my own mental space. I want to take care of myself, so I can't listen. I've got to shut that stuff out. And I think, unfortunately, the detriment of doing that is that you become totally, you keep yourself willfully ignorant that bad things are happening right this moment. And you aren't able to deal with that feeling of hopelessness or helplessness. And so you'd rather just not acknowledge it at all. And I feel like that's such a dangerous road to go down, because I've seen people like that completely just unwilling to recognize or acknowledge bad things happen. And I have to say, I can't really connect with people like that. Comes off as extremely unempathetic to me. And it is possible to be aware of and acknowledge that bad things are happening without becoming all doomeristic about it, well, what's the point? We should all give up. Nothing's ever going to change. That's another criticism I have, the whole nothing's going to change. Why do you care? So, again, I'm just trying to be an example and show you that it is possible to care, and to care deeply, and to still function, and to still try and carve out space in your life to champion good things, to want better things, to support good people, to try and do well. Like, it's really not impossible. Many of us are trying. But yeah, that was kind of a segue, because I wanted to just talk about the burden of being empathetic. Yeah, that was it. I want to talk about the burden of being empathetic. I'd rather be incredibly empathetic than not care. Like, sometimes it's hard on me, and sometimes it does give me anxiety, but I'd rather be this way than just not care. Hi, Keldar. Hello, Flex. Yeah, so we are afternoon chatting. And again, I want to make this a weekly thing because I want to give people a space that need a break and that need a little validation that they're not the only ones out there that just want to notice the beauty in our world and want things to be better. Musician spotlight. I came across this guy, and first of all, he looks like the protagonist of every single smut book that's out there. I guarantee you. I read one of those. It was called Quicksilver. I read it with a bunch of girls. It was to be our book club. And then, honestly, it was like such a bad book because it just was not well written. And it was so, I didn't even finish it. I didn't even finish it because I felt it was so surface level. And it was so funny too, because that was my first time going back to fiction after having read like a slew of nonfiction history books. So it's like, oh, the first fiction I go back to is this mediocre book called Quicksilver. Anyway, the protagonists look like this, which is so funny. So let's listen to some of his music. So these are just going to be clips. But I love classic piano music. But it just made me so happy that I came across him because his music is absolutely beautiful. Maxime Verdoni. I think he's French. Je crois l'homme est français. Anyway. Yes, so Maxime Verdoni, because we do love a pianist who is making beautiful music. Maxime, yeah, look at the guy. I mean, the guy's freaking beautiful and talented. What more can you want? Harlequin romance. Yeah, that's a better term. I should not call them smut novels. But I have opinions on them. It's so funny too because so I don't know why. I mean, I guess I kind of do, but I've asked multiple people. I give off very snobby vibes. I always have. People think I'm stuck up. They just do. I'm not snobby. I have very particular tastes, which I guess can make me snobby. But I'm not like a snob as where, well, that's too good for me. No, that's not good enough. You know, I wouldn't not listen to Lady Gaga because, oh, well, she's not classically trained. Like Lady Gaga is super freaking classically trained and she's talented as heck. But I'm not we went to a Weird Al concert, okay? So I'm not above anything. But people do think I'm a snob. I've also like given off prude vibes. And so I feel like I can't even discuss my criticism of smutty novels without people, like I told my neighbor the other day, I was like, oh yeah, I have a friend, it's all she reads. She reads like 6 books a week and it's all she reads. And she's like, well, what's wrong with that? I'm like, oh, great. She thinks I'm a prude now. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just I want her to experience other things, right? There are other stories. Plus, reading pages of ooh, ah. I'm sorry, but I have thoughts. And I don't want to criticize people for reading, but that's one thing recently that I've found when I bring up as a criticism, like, those dirty novels. I get well, what's wrong with that? It's not that it's nothing wrong with it. It's just that they're just, I would like to discuss other things when we get together, you know? I would like to have other options for book club. Anyway, that is a tangent. Thank you, Maxime, for bringing this up because you look like that. You look like the protagonist. Anyway, only the classiest smut for Dear Guy Tales. On the subject of that, there is actually, it's not smutty, but I told you before, the Forsyte Saga 2002 has one of the best scenes with Julian and his wife, who is their maid, that is working for him and his wife, but it's such a great scene. I can't show it. I mean, this is probably going to get copyright struck anyways because it played a ton of music. But, yes, exactly. Only the classiest smut for Dear Guy Tales. Okay, so today's topic, finally, we arrived at the open part of this. I want to talk about legacy. What do we want to be known for? What will others say about us when we're gone? What have we accomplished with our time here? And did we squander our potential to do something good? those are just 4 things. I had a lot more, but those are 4 of the things that I think about. Like what will we leave behind? What will we be known for one day? Are we going to be known for dedicating our lives to just championing, I can't say that word, championing, I can't say it. Flex could help me say it. Hi, Arsenic. 6 books a week suggests it's not being digested. The story isn't that deep. Thank you. That's exactly what my problem was with her 6 books a week. Was like, how do you have time for that? Anyway, this is some of the things that I want to be remembered for. Bringing more happiness into the world. My love of nature and animals. Standing up for what is right, kind, and just. Being a good human. Being creative, passionate, imaginative, and never being complacent with mediocrity. Again, there's a billion things I could put on this list, but this was some of them. And I want to make sure that I'm not wasting my time by giving it to causes and people who are undeserving of it. Especially this last part, never be complacent with mediocrity. I feel a lot of people have unfortunately gotten to a point where they think, oh, this is all I deserve. This sort of representation is all we're going to get, especially with the current political situation in the United States, is abysmal. It's a complete circus. It is so outrageously shameful. And a lot of people are complacent with it. They're just, this is life. And something, I don't want to get too much into it because I do want to dedicate an entire topic to the question of why do you care? But that's something that's caused a lot of frustration between me and my father, is this idea, well, why do you care so much? Why can't you just wait it out? Why can't you just, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It is a very big deal to me because I don't settle. I have very high standards for myself, for the things that I do, for my interactions, for my work. I've started sewing again, and I've been going through my fabric, fabric cloths and putting things aside. And I found a dress that I worked on, and I never finished it because it just wasn't perfect enough for me. I couldn't get it right. And I just can't be satisfied with that. And if I can't even finish a dress because I want to do it the right way, and I know I need to practice more, I'm certainly not going to be satisfied with what has been thrust upon me. And I've been told, oh, just deal with it. Just don't care. That's not good enough for me. So, but yes, these are some of the things that I want to be remembered by, that I'm trying to do in my life to accomplish, because I don't want to be remembered for being a miserable, mean, ill-mannered, just waste. I've talked about this before. There are a billion terms for an ill-mannered man, like rake, cad, which are great. I know I've owned bounder, that's another one. There's not a lot for the equivalent of an ill-natured woman. They tend to be more severe, the terms for women, but I don't want to be known as the female equivalent of a rake. What am I sewing? I'm sewing a lot of things right now. I just actually went to go pre-print some patterns so that I can sew tops and dresses and skirts, because I've got all this fabric, and I'm like, I'm never going to get any better unless I practice. I spent all this time taking classes, and I have my sewing machine, and I've got fabric, so I just need to stick with it. My mom, when she was alive, used to always tell me, how does it feel to be a role model, when she saw how I was with my niece and nephews. I never understood it much, but I understand now. And I feel installing goodness in people, especially kids, is a good legacy. That's really beautiful, Block Rocker. And thank you for being a good role model to them. And they're really, when they grow up, it's going to be really meaningful that they have a family member that they can look up to. So they're very lucky to have you. Sorry. As you can tell, family is a tricky subject for me, and one in which I don't think I'll ever really get any closure for. And you know, that's just life sometimes. I think a lot of people, they probably go to their graves wanting closure or wanting an answer or wanting a reason, and they're just never going to get it. And pursuing that, hoping for it, I feel is really sad. So, makes me really, really happy when I see and I hear stories like that. So thank you. That's really, really lovely. The discontinuation of socializing smarter to this very day is still one of the greatest travesties this beautiful person has ever perpetuated on her most dedicated flowers. Please reconsider that decision. As I have said it before, if Sarah Keitels were a song, it would be Too Much Heaven by Bee Gees. Aw, thanks, James. Which is a wonderful song. I love the Bee Gees. I actually did a dance routine today, and Bee Gees was one of the songs on there. You know what, though? I'm putting these videos on my socializing channel. I'm rebranding that, by the way, but this is where this show is going to be because this makes the most sense for it. So finally, everything is falling into place as it needs to. This has a home. That's cool. You should dedicate a block of time to doing your sewing like Sew Sunday. Yes. For me, getting on a schedule and a pattern is super beneficial, and so I definitely want to dedicate time, either, like you said, a day a week or an hour a day, or whatever works well for my schedule. Okay, so some of the upcoming topics that I want to talk about, and please feel free to add things on here if you would like to see me talk about it. I want to talk about kindness, and I want to talk about why it is so important for us to never stop striving to be kind, how to adopt kindness in our life, because I know some people, like my neighbor, who is a complete jerk. This guy is so mean, and he's so alienating. And, you know, we got into it. So I want to also say kindness is not, a lot of people see kindness as a weakness. It's like a sissy trait. And I want to show you and talk about why it's not. I'm a very sweet person. I am also also a tiger if I need to be. I absolutely am a tiger if I need to be. And that is how you should be. I want nice, sweet tigers. That's what I want to inspire in people, because you have to be able to stand up for yourself, and you also have to be able to set your boundaries as to when you are being mistreated or when you see someone else being mistreated. And there is a way to do that. You don't go picking fights, but you absolutely know what is right and wrong, and you have the passion to stand up for what is right for yourself and for other people around you. And that is what I think is really kind, is just being able to discern when to unleash the claws and when to not. And a lot of people can't make that discernment. I think because, and I'm like this too, we can take things too personally. We don't give enough grace to when it's needed. But there is like, you know, I just don't want to hand wave and be like, oh, we should strive to be kind. And no, some people legit do not deserve your kindness. I will say that. I will be the first people to say it. First person to say it. There are some people who do not deserve your kindness, but in that case, I would say don't even interact with them, right? There are plenty of people that I would never interact with because I just don't need that. I don't need that little worm tongue in my ear. Realizing manipulation. This is a topic I really want to talk about because it is so prevalent, especially with the way we are advertised to constantly. Google listening to you, Apple listening to you, Alexa listening to you and trying to manipulate you in order to sell you things, the stealing of your data, trying to basically emotionally hold you hostage emotionally so that you can't be a functioning human being without this product or without this person. A lot of these online grifter types, these like podcast bro types, are extremely, extremely manipulative. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to sell you an app. They're trying to sell you a product. They're trying to get you to sign up for the gambling thing. They're trying to keep you logged in and listening to them because your viewership, their salary is contingent on them trapping you. And so I want to do a topic on realizing manipulation. Tiger time. Okay, do not harm, but also take no crap. See, that's perfect. Do no harm, but also take no crap. That's perfect. I'm going to use that. Saying goodbye to people. This is also an important one because for me specifically, I've been on and off for a few years now, helping people personally try to be better communicators, trying to improve their socializing for the means of like meeting new people, making friends and whatnot. And you'd think like, oh, okay, I'd be a big proponent of just keeping a friendship no matter what. Nothing can come between our friendship and whatnot. Nothing can come between it. It's more powerful than that. I want to say, no, that's actually not true. There is a time when we need to say goodbye to people. I have done this. I'm sure they have done it to me too. It is okay to part ways with people that are not doing right by you or that are not meeting you halfway. I recently kind of reached out and nicely told someone that just wasn't really meeting me halfway at all. Maybe like 1/10 of the way, and I was doing 9/10 of the work. I just said very calmly, like, hey, I hope you're doing well. I think I'm going to be stepping back and taking some time to reevaluate things, but I wish you the best. I'm always thinking about you, want good things. But this was after many, many, many attempts of just not having the reciprocated care. And sometimes that's it. Like, we need to be able to know when we need to do that. And I think a lot of people are so unwilling to say goodbye, and they really, really want to make their friendship work, and they're trying so hard. Or they're, I'm not going to let this come between us. I should say saying goodbye to people / letting politics interfere with the friendship, because this is something that have seen a lot, unfortunately. And this is a very loaded topic. So I'm not going to get into it too much today, but I just wanted to talk about, I want to put it on the list. Having higher standards. We all need to have higher standards for ourselves, for the people around us, the people that represent us. Again, this is a very political topic. And I should put this as topic. The taboo of politics when in a timeline where everything has become political, it's very hard to avoid talking about them. And how frustrating that is and how annoying that is. Because in a normal timeline, it wouldn't be that way. But having higher standards in general is just something that I think people need, especially with right now, there's a lot of forced acceptance of AI. I'm sure everyone's seen, the AI data centers are going up. There's nothing we can do about it. Like, no, we need to have higher standards. This is not okay. We don't need to accept that. We also don't need to accept how abysmal things are for us and for other people. And so I think if we have higher standards for ourselves, that'll really bleed into other areas. Finding new hobbies. That'll be a fun topic because I can share the list of hobbies and things that I've done, and I would love to know what other hobbies people have too. Like, how do we all spend our lives? That's something that when you talk to someone and you're like, oh, well, what do you do for fun? And they can't tell you. Well, we should probably find you a hobby so that you can talk about it and expand your knowledge and better communication. That's a very important one. And my friend Arsenic was telling me last night, he shared an article about AI chatbots and their impact on the dating scene. And I saw something today about a woman figured out this guy that was courting her was using an AI chatbot, or like ChatGPT, to respond to her messages, and how obvious it was. And so the trouble we will have with communication, not just because communicating is hard, it is, but also now we have this other element of AI being thrown into the mix, and ChatGPT, and I don't know how to talk to people because I'm so used to talking to a computer and having it formulate my thoughts and whatnot. So those are some of the topics I want to come up with. Hi, Logic Fan. A good rule is to not reward bad people with your presence. That is perfect. I see. This is why I wanted to do a live show for this format, because those sort of mantras and ideas are so good and so eloquently put. You basically just described what I said, but in 9 words. That's perfect. And that's like what I want to get to be in my life. And I've kind of always felt that way, like online when I interact with people. I try to only make a point of responding to nice comments, or if someone's saying something mean to me, I tend to just block and delete. I tend to just resist the urge to fight back. Ugh, no, let me just block and delete, because it's just not worth my time. And if I'm going to spend time on something, I really want to spend time on engaging with people who are thoughtful. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but you have to be polite about it. And if you're not polite about it, well, I'm certainly not going to be polite back to you, or I'm just going to ignore you. The legendary fan, it's been ages. Yeah, I know. I said in the beginning, I brought it back because it's beautiful and it's practical, and it keeps you warm. It keeps you cool when it's warm. Got a question. My problem when it comes to letting go of people is being locked on the good that they had before and not accepting that the person has treated you in a disrespectful way. What is your way of letting go without being tainted by remembering the past? That is really, really difficult, Block Rocker. Especially considering I struggle with that too. And it's really hard because you remember all the good times you had, and then you think about what happened. And I really do think just thinking about it is an illustration of two people that were once traveling on the same road, decided to take different paths. You went through a meadow and the other person went through, I don't know, they went through a marshland. So you went through a flowery meadow and they went through a marshland. And it's really just, you're too far away now to really kind of understand the perspective of where you both are at. They're not really going to understand where you're at, and you're really not going to understand where they're at. And if it's causing you any kind of grief or making you feel bad, then it's okay to just say, you know what? We used to be on the same path. We're now just in different places. And think about moving forward with you. What great things do you personally have to look forward to? Is there a new language you can learn? Is there a new place you can visit? Can you have a new kind of experience? Just think about you, not necessarily holding on to what you remember. And it's really hard. It's really, really hard. I totally understand that. It's very sad. And I think I posed this question to a friend once. I said, if I was brainwashed and in a cult. And a cult leader came by the house and was like, "You're mine now, girl. You're going to come live with me on my compound. Me and my 83 wives." And I was like happy to be the new recruit. And I was totally bought in. Would you try and help me? Or would you say, "I can't help her. She's got to make her own decisions"? And I'm the sort of person that would want to help. I would want to break into the compound and take you in the middle of the night and say, "Snap out of it. You don't belong here. You come back. You're coming back to the land of the living with me." I feel I'm that person. I am a very, very, I don't know what the term is. What's not the spiritual definition of righteous. There's impassioned, persistent, stubborn. What's a good term for stubborn? But I'm like that. I'm very stubbornly optimistic in that I would be able to help someone, help a beloved one. And that's just not reality. That's just not how life is. And so I've had to give up that pursuit. And it's hard. But you know what? I'm at peace. I'm totally at peace. It doesn't depress me. I just look from afar. I'm like, oh, there she is over there. The 84th sister wife. Hi. So it's hard. I'm not, again, this is good. These are getting into the upcoming topics, which is good because we have a lot to talk about. But yeah, it's good to want to change. It is okay to realize we can't, but I encourage you to put that passion into something beneficial for yourself. Is the compound nice and is the cult leader cute? No, he's not cute. He's hideous. He's awful. He poops his pants. Okay. He's not cute. The compound is disgusting and he poops his pants. No, it's not a place. It's not a place she should be. Attachment to bad people and situations is rooted in fear and avoidance. So face your fears and stop avoiding things. Yeah, I think definitely a fear of losing someone is a totally valid reason why people want to hold on to someone in their lives. But I think a lot of people like me, I'm really tired and exhausted just of things in general. And I kind of just want to conserve my energy for doing good, which is why I'm like, you know what? I think I'm at the point in my life where I can start veering off. I can start taking my own path. I'll watch my friends on the other path, my former acquaintances and whatnot. And it's okay. It's totally okay. It's really not worth trying to take them with you if they don't want to go. And I'm channeling that into other things. So I think it's good. I just want to help other people get to that point because I think a lot of people get very depressed about the thought of saying goodbye or parting ways or taking other paths and they can't handle it. So I'm going to dedicate an episode to that. But yeah, this is basically my show. I just wanted to do something like this every week. And again, I don't know if it's going to have the same, I don't know if it's going to have the same format as this every single week because I wanted to talk about, I never even did my trip to the library. Oh, my onward and upward. My recipe. Okay, so see, now I'm seeing I didn't actually finish this list because I got distracted. Listen, this was supposed to go out in May. Okay, it's been a while. But I am reading, I just started reading the second volume of Ultimate Superman, which is fantastic. But I did get a couple books too. Flex told me about this book about Liv Tyler and Richard Burton, and it's called Unbelievable Erotica or something. I don't know. It's a story of how crazy Liv Tyler's life was. And I just finished, I'm in the middle of watching a Rock Hudson documentary, which is actually entirely appropriate for Pride Month. And it briefly mentions Liv Taylor in the Rock Hudson documentary. Well, Flex's friend is reading it. He's like, oh yeah, Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson makes an appearance in this book about Liv Taylor and Richard Burton. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll read it. Because he said it was crazy, I'm sure. Like, a lot of classic Hollywood stories are absolutely just insane. Like, going all the way back to the silent picture era. Just the craziest stuff ever. A very dramatic time period. So much more entertaining than Hollywood today, I feel, which is just very kind of but back then it was nuts. Not like even in a good way. Like a lot of awful, terrible, horrific things going on, but just so crazy that industry was as wild as it was. But I got that book, and then I got another book on the way. So that I do want to start reading more. So yeah, I do want to do live book sections and whatnot. Kevin, talking about our Feelings Tuesday. And I don't know which day I'm going to do this, but I will do this every week because, again, I want to carve out time and be intentional about it. And I'll get better as I go along. I'll get more in the swing of what I want to talk about and whatnot. Oh, wait, she abandoned my book lovers. What one? Arsenic, I'm not even in a book club anymore. If you do, see, we tried a book club where we all read the same book in the past, but then Arsenic, we did something where we read a book, our own book, and then we'd talk about it with everyone else. And I think that's a much better topic because then no one is forced to read a book that they don't like. So Arsenic, we will do book club again. This is a great way to bring that back. I will tell you all the dirty secrets of Liv Tyler's marriage to Richard Burton and all the crazy stuff in there. Super Dion, bro. Hi, Kitetails. I've been lurking here for the past while and just wanted to say I love this presentation. Covered plenty of topics I've been trying to improve on. Oh, thank you. See, that right there, you've completely justified my rambling. Thank you. If I can just inspire someone to just want their life to be a little bit better, that's all I want, because I am very, very, extremely blessed and grateful with my life and with my ability to just everything that I have around me. I really, really want other people to be happy. And I want to just, if I can help someone be a little bit better, that has a chain reaction impact on everything. Like if we can encourage one person out there to be better, and let's say that person will encourage one other person to be better, like it will have an amazing reaction. So thank you for saying that. Thank you for stepping out of the shadows and for stepping away from your lurking to tell me that. That is what I want to hear. Yeah, I did it. That's kind of what I wanted to rebrand my social. So I wanted to take a note actually from Metal Gear Solid and make something akin to Mother Base, but instead of Fultoning and kidnapping people to build my army, I just want to inspire people to be part of something better, bigger. Like to not be so obsessed with our own bubble, and to make our bubble a bright bubble where we spend our time on this planet doing good with the time that we have. That's really what I want. High society hour. That's the vibe. I just want to be better. I want to help people be better. So thank you for that. And thank you. Your analogy with the meadow and the marshland actually helped me restructure my mindset. Oh, thank you, Dion. You know what though? That analogy really helped me too. And I had to visualize it because I had a very sad experience, but I visualized it like that and I was okay with it. I was like at peace. And it really, really helped me. I'm a very, very visual person, especially when I listen to music. And that's what gets me so emotional, is because I like see scenes in my head, or I'll match the music with a feeling. And for me, being able to visualize a feeling that I have, or visualize a point in my life, like saying goodbye to someone that you love at a fork in the road, and you go through the meadow and they go through the marshland, and just saying goodbye. I don't know, it was just like peaceful. I didn't feel despondent about that. So thank you. I'm glad that helped you too. You missed the Rogers quote I shared with you. Oh, wait, what was it? What was the Fred Rogers quote? Oh, there it is. As human beings, our job in life is to help people realize how rare and valuable each one of us really is. That each of us has something that no one else has or ever will have. Something inside that is unique to all time. It's our job to encourage each other to discover that uniqueness and provide ways of developing its expression. That's so beautiful, and makes me really sad that we don't have someone like that mainstream anymore. When we think about really happy humans, we think about like, oh, Mr. Rogers, right? He's so stereotypically. This actually, I will feature him for my episode I do on kindness, which I might do next week. But when we think of people like stereotypically happy or very sweet, we think of Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and who else? I feel like a lot of people think Keanu Reeves is brought up as like, oh, he's such a good human. Like, yeah. But nowhere near as like inspiring as Mr. Rogers, and notable for being kind like him. And I feel like today, and the reason I want to do an episode on kindness is because kindness has been really portrayed as emasculating, as weak, as something that you do if you were on the losing side. And I just think that's such a terrible, terrible trend. It's really, really disappointing how kindness has been so maligned, when to me it's such a beautiful thing. It just really moves me. Like, a lot of people, you'll see photos of, I've seen this multiple times, like on Instagram, there's like a man holding a baby bunny, or there's a firefighter rescuing a kitten. The women in the comments are just like, wow, like, down girl, fire hose you. A lot of women really admire those traits in men. And, Flex is a very empathetic person. And when I'll look over, we'll be at a point in the show, or like, we watched the Gene Wilder documentary on Netflix, and oh my God, it had the saddest ending. Gene Wilder died of Alzheimer's, and his wife was describing his last moments, and she said, "Over the Rainbow" is playing on the record player by Ella Fitzgerald, and they were in bed together, and he sat up and he said, "I trust you," and then he said, "I love you," and that was the last thing he said to her, and then he died. And I just thought, we just both started crying, and I love that about him. I like this guy I told you about, my British Tony Soprano. I love this guy, and he cries like every episode, and the Potters actually consider it like a feat, a personal victory, if they've moved him to tears, because it means they've made something beautiful. I love the expression of kindness, and when I see it, it's so admirable, and it really stands out to me. And so, again, you don't need to be a pushover, and I think that's like the myth, is kind people need to be pushovers. And then when you push a kind person and they react, you're like, whoa, wait a second, I thought you were supposed to be nice. Oh, you're so mean. I thought you were kind. And that's like the trap, that, oh, kind people need to be pushovers. We definitely don't. So again, I'm getting into the topics that I want to save for other weeks, which is totally fine. I just haven't really prepared too much about it. But I really admire kindness. And so it makes me sad that we don't have a Mr. Rogers type figure today. And I think if we did, he'd get called all kinds of names. And he'd just be mocked. And it's terrible, the people that do that too. Like, God, get a life. Get a life. I didn't know Gene remarried. Yes, his first wife sadly died of cancer. And then he was in a movie with, what's his name? It's called See No Evil. He's a black actor. Gene Wilder and him were in a couple movies together. Comedian. He was also in a skit with, what's his name? I can't remember. I literally just watched the documentary last night too, but the name slips me. Richard Pryor. Thank you. Richard Pryor. That was it. He was in a movie with Richard Pryor where Gene Wilder played a deaf man and Richard Pryor played a blind man. And so his second wife was a woman who worked for a school for the deaf, and Gene had reached out because he wanted to, this was after his wife died, he wanted to portray a deaf man in a respectable way, in a way that wasn't going to be slapsticky and disrespectful. So he ended up marrying, they fell in love, and he married her, and she was with him until his death. I think you'll really love the book. Check out The Power of Kindness by Piero Ferici when you get the chance. Awesome book on kindness. I will. Thank you, Block Rocker. That's another thing I want to do. I want to take recommendations for topics, and because, again, I would have never heard that book. And I feel like there's a wealth of information that I can benefit from by your suggestions on these things. So thank you for that. Yeah, Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder were in several movies. Also, I found out Gene Wilder and baby Harrison Ford were in a movie called there's a name, Frisco, the Frisco Kid. And he plays a rabbi, and Harrison Ford is a cowboy. And we saw clips and we were like, okay, I gotta watch it, because I love Harrison Ford. I just freaking love him. He's in one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, I just love Harrison Ford just because he's when I think of like classic actor, Harrison Ford. He's in one of my favorite movies of all time, the 1995 version of Sabrina with Julie Ormond, remake of the 1954 version with Audrey Hepburn, which I have thoughts about. But yeah, so Harrison Ford and Gene Wilder together, I was like, oh, I definitely have to watch this movie. So I am going to wrap up my stream soon. But yeah, yeah, Kite. Sabrina's my fave. It is my fave. I did a video where I talked about why I preferred the remake to the original. And a lot of people are like, well, I prefer the original to the remake. And that's the wonderful thing. Like, we all don't have to agree. Especially now, it's hard where everything, again, has become so divisive to where if we don't agree on everything, that's no reason to not talk, right? But there are definitely some boundaries that I think we need to set. So I want to talk about that in a future video, because that's going to be I definitely want to prepare for that one, because that's going to be pretty serious. But yeah, I hope we could still be friends, because I prefer the remake to the original and you prefer the original to the remake, something like that. Oh, that's incredible. I didn't know that about Gene. Yes, I know. I was shocked. It was like Gene Wilder and Harrison Ford. Actually, so my favorite Gene Wilder performance is Willy Wonka. And the boy who plays Charlie, he's a man now. He's an old man now. But Charlie's actor said that Gene Wilder in Willy Wonka, in that last scene where he's yelling at Charlie and Grandpa Joe, he's like, "You get nothing, sir. You lose." The actor who played Charlie said in the script they knew Willy Wonka was going to get upset. Him and Grandpa Joe did steal fizzy lifting drinks, and they did smear, the insides of the chamber. So he's like, we knew he was going to be upset. we just didn't expect, we weren't expecting him to get that angry. And so he said that the wonderful thing about Gene was that he reacted so believably, so that it made it easy for Charlie and Grandpa Joe's actor for them to react the way in which they did. So Charlie looks so hurt and confused in that scene because the actor himself, the child, was like, dude, what the heck? You were way angrier than you were when we were rehearsing this. And he just said that was just such a wonderful thing about Gene, was that he made it so that the people around him didn't really have to pretend like their reactions were genuine and whatnot. It's a really, really good documentary. I think it's called Remembering Gene Wilder. Highly recommend it. Yeah, good day, sir. That's such an iconic. That's my favorite role of his. Oh, the other, when he walks out and he's like stumbling along and he puts his cane in the ground and then he does the somersault, that was also Gene Wilder's interpretation, because in the original screenplay, it said that he was going to hop along and he was going to skip and be happy. And he's like, no, we're changing that. We're going to make Willy Wonka come out and he's going to be super mysterious and then he's going to blow everyone's expectations. Oh, and another thing about that movie, the first time they saw the chocolate room where he sings Pure Imagination, everything in the room, well, that was the first time the entire cast saw that room. And so their reactions, their surprise was real. I just thought that was so cool. That movie was in 1971. You go back and you watch that movie, you're like, whoa, this is so ahead of its time. Anyways, that's kindness. Listen, we're going to get sidetracked and stuff, and that's the beauty of being able to get sidetracked and get back on track. So, sorry, Giant Depp, but Gene is wrong. Yes, thank you. Okay, Block Rocker, I was a little concerned because I thought you were going to say, like, sorry, Johnny Depp is Wonka. Like, no, that's something. I don't think anyone agrees that Johnny Depp did a better job than Wonka. He certainly didn't. The writing of that movie was super fraught. What? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? The Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie sucks. I've only seen it once. I'm only ever going to see it once. Anyway, I'm going to head off now, but thank you guys for watching my show. I'll have the replay on it on my one of my YouTube channels, and I'll see you here next week. Do you guys have any preference on which topic you want to talk about next week? Because I've started working on my kindness one, but I can easily do any of these. Which one of these looks really interesting and would be a fun topic? That's the one that I'll do. Playing video games is nice, Sarah, but this is where you shine. Thanks, James. This is what I like. I can talk your ear off. I'm just a very, very good talker. I talk well. No, I talk long, which makes this a good format for live streams. Thank you so much, Kite. This stream was fantastic, and you continue to help educate me when I need it most. Well, thank you, Dion. Thank you, everyone, for coming by, for participating, for giving me your time, for hopefully finding some inspiration. Really means a lot to me, too. So it's completely mutual, and I appreciate that. I'm super interested in that, having higher standards and better communication. You know what? I say let's do better communication, because Arsenic in the chat. Yeah, okay, communication. I think you're super. Let's start with that. We're going to do better communication, because I have, that will just be a great one. It's very relevant. And it's what I've tried to help people with. I've made so much material for, maybe we'll go through, actually, we can go through my checklist that I made, like my structured guideline that I've made in the past about that. That'll be good. Okay, then better communication next week. Thank you again so much for joining me today. And until next week, everyone, I hope you have a good day and a good weekend if I don't see you before then. And yeah, take care, guys. Bye.